Yeah, Tom Mullins. I'm a city council candidate for St. Pete District 4. My understanding is there's about 20 of these initiatives that are underway in different communities in the United States, and most of these are very, very new, and um, and really just the results aren't in. We have the benefit, I think, of waiting probably a little bit longer to see what the pros and cons are and what the results are of some of these initiatives, and the answer may reveal itself. We have only bought art from living artists, and we only buy art locally, from local artists. So we pretty much only bought it at the art shows where you can interact with the artist directly and confirm that they're they're local real people. The universal income thing, I mean, you're supplementing current assistance programs. I don't have anything ideological against that. I mean, they don't really seem that that expensive. The amount you're talking about, I mean, that's like that's like it's selling one extra piece every 2 or 3 months. There's a market for art, just like there is for everything else. I have no idea if that market is oversupplied today in our area or undersupplied, but I can't do anything about it if it's. I mean, if it's just a situation where the market is simply oversupplied, then there's not going to be any sort of any program short of the one kind of like what you've described that will make people financially happy. So if it's oversupplied, then yeah, then there probably does need to be less time spent painting and sculpting, and more time working in some other line of work. That's just life in a market economy. The broadest opportunity to make a living from producing art is policies that attract the most economic activity, because income is ultimately what supports art. And the market for art must be attached or influenced by the housing market. And so when you have new housing development, new housing supply come online, that's probably something I would think, from a common sense standpoint, that is probably something which grows the demand curve for art. I don't think you'll find anyone at least in the District 4 race that I'm in, that is a bigger proponent of more high density housing in the city than I am. These companies that are buying houses, generally improving their physical condition, and then renting them out to families, are filling a market need, and they are bringing a new alternative to the housing market that wasn't there previously. In St. Pete, the quantity of rental homes that were in truly sort of first-rate condition that a family could move into, a family that for whatever their reasons preferred to rent rather than to lock themselves into an enormous financial commitment of home ownership and a mortgage. There's a lot of families that do have those preferences, and these companies bring an alternative to the housing market that I support. I feel like I'm being sensitized to an issue I wasn't aware of, perhaps as much there, but significant financial transactions, whether they're loans, they're grants, those are serious transactions, and there's a right way to do it that protects both sides. And often the format of those documents is stipulated by law or by regulation. I don't think there will be much we can do to change that, other than to counsel greater patience and focus on and we all have to, no matter what our personal characteristics, we all have to struggle with filling out forms and learning to operate new software and all that stuff, and we just have to get through it. So, I mean, we go to the art shows, we interact with the artists, we understand their work, they're working people and they're professionals in their line of work, just like we are in ours. We bring friends and we buy. Artists will have to make their living through sales of art in the market, and the size and health of that demand curve in the market for fine arts is what's ultimately going to determine how many artists can do this for a living, and earn a respectable, humane living from doing it. But part of that market is the public sector. If I'm on city council, you're certainly going to have a friend and someone that is knowledgeable about local artists, and now I'm a little more sensitized now to some of the challenges that they face, but someone that respects the profession and has demonstrated a willingness to you know to not just say the words, but to open the checkbook to pay appropriately for the work that's been done here. I mean, I understand that St. Pete has a different strategy than other large cities, and part of our brand involves, and part of the reason that people want to live here and visit here has to do with the personality and appearance of the community. I do recognize that there is a financial benefit to the city from that attribute, and that there does probably need to be a way that I mean, it sounds like however it has worked in the past, that sharing arrangement between the value that's created and how much of that is captured by the artist, how much of that is captured by retailers or hotels or other people it may be a little off balance, but I guess be careful to charge, make sure you charge an appropriate amount for some of the good work you're doing. I mean, if somebody painted that, what I'm looking at in your Zoom background, and only charged $1,000, that was a mistake.